Today is day three. Day three. Um, let's get to it. Doing this a little earlier in the morning. Trying to get better positioning on my leaderboards. All right, let's read it. We're still on submarine. Submarine's making some weird noises. Diagnostic report is my puzzle input. Binary numbers, which can tell us many useful things about the conditions of the submarine. Power consumption. Generate two new binary numbers called the gamma rate and the epsilon rate. The power consumption can be found by multiplying the gamma rate by the epsilon rate. We multiplying those two binary numbers? Or they're like base 10 numbers? Well, we'll probably find out. All right, each bit can be determined most common bit in the corresponding position of all numbers. Okay. So it looks like what we're going to do is be given a list of binary numbers, and we're going to have to look at sort of maybe split them into an array and find out how many zeros are in index 0 and how many ones are in index 0, and whatever the most common one is, that is the like bit assignment for the gamma rate. So yeah, okay. Then we'll convert that decimal. Epsilon, use the least common. So we could either do this twice, or we could sort of create the opposite, right? Or we could do like a bitwise operation on this number to get the opposite number, and then you multiply the two of them together. Dog's trying to eat the cat's food. All right. So what is it? Okay. So let's pull up VS Code. Let's use 2 as the template. That's not what I want to do. What's going on up here? All right, so let's take care of this test input. And the regular input. Thousand of them, that's not so many. All right. Close out of these. Let's look at our main. I don't know if we're going to need to make any ints. Let's keep it there for now. We will need to make a slice, right? But we're going to split it on nothing, right? Because we're going to split up these guys. Feeling a little slow today. I didn't feel very good last night. I ate what I believe to be a bad empanada. So if I look like I'm sluggish, that is why. Nobody wants a bad empanada. All right. Let's go to our testing. Get rid of part 1, part 2. So what are we going to want to do here? You know what I should do? I should be better at learning some VS Code tricks. For example, like I know there's a way to go down sort of the side, right? And like add a character all in line the same way. That's something that I should do. Okay. All right. So these should all pass. Actually, this one shouldn't pass, right? Let's we're really doing some cheating here, aren't we? Let's just do 2 of them. And what do we want here? No, so because we're doing this strings, right? We can parse them just fine as strings. Let's, how many do we have? 5. And this one's a 1. Okay. So let's go ahead and test these. Test passes. Okay. So we're currently able to pull those strings from our data, right? And then split them out. Now what we're going to want to do is, I don't know if this is something we can really test, right? So let's just do it. Let's go for it. All right, so what are we gonna want to do? This is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna make a slice called one's total. Set it equal to it's going to be a slice of ints, and what I'll do is I will keep track of the total number of ones in each of those positions. Okay, so what I'll do is, hold on. Right. So let's do a for, we don't care, what do we care? We don't care about the, so we can do a range here. We don't care about the index. And what are we calling these guys? So now we're going to be going through, right? And what we need to do is for we do care about index here. Let's spell it out instead of doing an I. Our index number equals, and what I'm going to do is, I don't know if this is going to work, but I'm going to do it in range make slice binary number. I don't know if that'll work. Looks like it will, right? So what I'm going to be doing is using the index in this number to also pair it with this one's total. And the number will be that individual string because I'm turning this into a slice. And, you know, it's possible that I don't need to make a slice. I can probably just go through each of those indexes, but you know what? I already typed it out. So, all right. So if, no. So what I need to do is so I need to do a quick so here's my problem, right? This one's total is not populated, right? I could hard code some, you know, zeros into it, right? But you know, my test case has 5. My real input has, what's that, 12 maybe, right? So I need it to be more dynamic, right? And what I need to do then is here. Let's do this. For I so this will only loop one time, right? Semicolon. Okay. And let's think. What I want to do is just go through the first one and just add zeros to this. But all I have is, okay, so for data I, so that's the first number. Okay, yeah, this is we're gonna do the same thing sort of as we're doing the you know, I don't need this, do I? I can just do a for loop and hard code 0 here. Okay. Okay. I do want the index, don't I? Well, this is just going to be number if I'm keeping the same naming scheme. And this is that sort of binary number, data 0. All right, for next number, what we're going to do is One's total append one's total 0. Let's actually make a function for that. That's actually a good. Init slice, we want it to be int so I'm going to be passing in, let me look at this. What do I want to pass in? Yeah, I want to just pass in that number, right? So there's no need to turn it into anything yet. Okay. And let's look at our input and use this first one. Right, because that's going to be, and so what do we got in here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. All right. So we got 10, 11, 12. Comment there. All right. So right, so let's save this and move this logic over to here. And into it, we're going to be passing a string. And out of it, we're going to be passing a slice events, right? So what do we want to do? For, okay, so let's move this up here, right? For all right, I think that should do it. And what we can do here is one's total equals init slice with data 0. Right, let's try. This is going to cause a problem. I'm just going to comment this out for a moment. Well, this is a problem. I'm going to comment this out too, though. We got, we're not referencing that character, are we? So what we're going to need to do is for I equals, we're just gonna have to do a, like a, just a regular for loop. I equals 0 until I is less than the length of the string. And I plus plus. All right, so let's go ahead and test that. Passes. Okay, so that's good. That means that we're able to sort of initialize that string out of here. Okay. Now we can start. Now we can start using it. So we're gonna get that, and if number is equal to, and then remember that this is a string here, then we're going to say one's total index, right? Or yeah, index. Because we're doing it at 0, 1, whatever. So this is the position. And we're going to say that that plus equals 1. And then let's just see what happens when we return one's total. That's not going to be the right answer, obviously. I can't do that. Let's just trust that that's going on. All right. So we've got our ones total, and then what we're going to do is we want to join those, right? No, you may not have a popsicle right now. I couldn't. Crazy kids want a popsicle at 8 in the morning. All right. So now here's the thing, right? We can so we're not actually going to join this, right? Because these are numbers, right? So we're going to make a new thing. Do it up here. So set length, and we're going to set that equal to the length of data. That's going to help us find out what, the largest number of all these are, right? So let's go through this. If we don't care about the length, let's say half. Half equals that divided by 2. All right. And what is this going to be? An int. Okay. So we're going to iterate through one's total. For I let's just go for it. All right. We're just, we're going through it in order, so we don't really care about the index anymore. I total equal range one's total. Okay. So if, so we're doing, doing it for each of these, right? If we're going to need to make some strings. What were they called? Gamma equals and what's the other one? Epsilon. Epsilon. If so, we're going to say if the total is greater than half, right? So that means that this is, so for this index, for example, we're starting at index 1, the value is going to be that total number, right? We iterated over it. If there's 1,000, right? Or in my case, how many are there here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, there's 12. Half is 6. If this number of the times that there was a 1 in it is greater than 6, then that means it's the majority, right? And what we'll do is gamma equals, so we're going to be making so we got a string and a string and gamma and these are only ones, right? So do 1. We don't need to do that. Right. And for this one, collapse this down. Epsilon, we're making it 0, right? So here what we're doing is we're making these binary strings, right? In this case, we're saying if 1 is the majority of the characters at that position, gamma, which we want it to be the majority, right, is going to have this done, right? Else, let's grab these. Else we're going to switch these around, right? So if it's not the majority, then we need to have a 0 there because 0 must be the majority and 1 is the minority, and that's how they work, right? Okay, so now we have the job of having a string for gamma and epsilon. We're going to need to convert some convert binary into an int, right? So let's pull these out. To step out for just a second. What's the examples they use? So this one is going to be 22. we got this other one is 110. Is that right? Hold on. Right, okay, no, sorry. Gamma rate for binary is that this one is 9. Okay. So gamma rate, well, I guess we don't care yet. This should be a capital C. That's that. Convert binary, we'll bring a string in, and we will leave with an int. Hold on one sec. All right, sorry about that. What do we got? Convert. All right. No, I don't want to do that way. Wrong way. Sorry. Okay, so okay, so it looks like we are going to int val there equals convert parse oops. Parse int, and then we're going to have the string that came in, and it's got binary so that it's 2. And what do we want to make it? Do we want to make it bit size int? Yes. Does it matter? Let's see if it matters. We'll check error and return int val. All right. Let's see what we got here. If we can test this. Right, it worked, right? So the convert binary tests are passing. All right. So now we have our so let's add them together. Convert binary gamma times convert binary epsilon. All right, let's go ahead and make our final test for part 1. And what do we got to do? Shoot. Input equals and what do we want our result to be is 198. All right, let's go ahead and test it. It passes. All right, so let's go ahead and do it for real. Go run main.go, and we get that. Why isn't that working? Okay. See what we got. We got our gold star. Good for us. All right, part 2. Next, you should try to verify the life support rating. Let me pop this out. Oxygen generator rating by the CO2 scrubber rating. Okay, so there's two more numbers. Both the oxygen generating and the CO2 scrubber rating are values that can be found in your diagnostic report. Finding them is the tricky part. Both values are located using similar processes involves filtering out values until one remains. Eek, okay. Before searching for either rating value, start with the full list of binary numbers from your diagnostic report and consider just the first bit of those numbers. All right, then keep only numbers selected by the bit criteria. All right. This seems like it's going to be complicated. All right, so let's look at this bit criteria. Determine the most common value, 0, 1, in the current bit position, and keep only numbers with that bit in that position. All right. Well, do we have any that are equally common? That's a good question. I never checked for that, did I? Keep only numbers with that bit in that position. Wouldn't that just basically be my most common ones, right? I checked for each bit. Oh, okay. So maybe I start with bit 1 and let me pop this out. Right. So I never let's do so it, like, I think this is what we're saying. So these are the averages, right? But it's not that we're looking for those averages. We're going to start with 0, right, in spot 0. And then we're going to say, getting rid of all the ones that don't have 0, right? I think that's what it's saying. Let's make it bigger and keep reading. This is probably something that I'm going to end up having to finish during my lunch, do it in 2 parts. All right, so yeah, I think that yeah, that's what it is that I know that people sometimes know how to make things like binary trees. I don't, right? So some sort of weighted binary tree. That's something I don't want to have to learn to do. Maybe it would be a good opportunity to learn how to do it. I'm wondering if it would be easier to just sort it, right? And say, for example, so we do the first. How long did that take me actually? Well, it doesn't matter. So find out what the first number is, right? And then we say it's 0, right? Sort them and remove all the ones that don't have a 0. Or I mean, I wouldn't even have to remove all the ones that don't have a 0. I can just iterate through it. I mean, it's 12 loops, right? That are going to get shorter every time. And then do the opposite. All right. This is, however, going to take me more time than I want to spend. So I'm going to decide to either figure out how to use, if I should just use this as an opportunity to create a binary search tree, or whether I should just do it my way. It'd probably be more valuable for me to learn binary search trees. I don't want to, but I'm gonna. All right. Anyways, so then I'm gonna stop here on part 1 and do part 2 during lunch. I think I'll do a little bit of research on the side about binary search trees, so you don't just have to watch me as I read documentation. All right, that's it. That's the end. See you at lunch.